Hey there guys and gals, cats and kittens, droids and porgs. The new Star Wars Episode 8 The Last Jedi trailer just dropped, and the badass new movie poster also just appeared. Before we get started, I just want to say, if you don't like porgs, you can get out right now. I'm just kidding. Please watch this video all the way through and like and subscribe. I'm Whitney Van Lanningham, and this is our breakdown of The Last Jedi movie trailer and poster with fan theories. Alright, let's talk about this trailer first. The first frame shows Kylo Ren brooding in front of a hangar filled with AT-ATs that look like they're being loaded onto a cargo ship of some kind. It looks like Kylo's preparing to go to war, presumably with the Resistance and possibly on some kind of ice or salt planet. In the next frame, we see a pack of snowtroopers led by Kylo Ren marching into a cave that looks remarkably like the lava pit where Granddaddy Darth lost his hokey-pokey parts at the hand of Obi-Wan in Revenge of the Sith. Over this little montage, Snoke is seemingly telling Kylo Ren that he knew how powerful he would be once he was trained. However, as soon as Snoke's little monologue ends, the next cut is of Rey trying to get the hang of her new lightsaber, which of course suggests that she might be just as powerful, if not more powerful, than Kylo himself. This trailer didn't really answer the question we've all been dying to know the answer to. Is Rey Luke's daughter? But it's obvious that we're gonna see this girl kick some serious ass in The Last Jedi. After a brief flyover Skywalker Island, we see Luke's trembling robot hand reach out and grab the lightsaber from Rey. At which point, while I was watching this, I was just like, yes! I missed Luke Skywalker so much, and then he was barely in The Force Awakens, so for the past 2 years, I've had to substitute a new Luke Skywalker plot for obsessing over his Twitter feed and praying that he notices me. We see some really cool shots of Rey fighting imaginary womp rats with her new lightsaber, while her voiceover explains how and why she found herself seeking Luke's guidance and training. In a quick frame, we see what looks like it could possibly be where the Journal of the Whills is being kept, which has been fan theorized to maybe make an appearance in The Last Jedi. In case you're like, what does Wil Wheaton's journal have to do with Star Wars? The Journal of the Whills is an ancient text that chronicles the history of the galaxy. The Ancient Order of the Whills was made up of holy shaman who claimed to have discovered and studied the key to eternal life. My theory is that Rey is going after the journals to try to get them before Kylo Ren can grab them and bring them back to Snoke, but that's just me. Finally, we hear one of Luke's lines from the new franchise, and it's honestly pretty spooky.
I've seen this raw strength only once before. It didn't scare me enough then. It does now.
Okay, I need a second to process that. Who was Luke talking about? Kylo Ren? Or was he relaying an old flashback from post-Return of the Jedi era that we haven't seen yet? Or both? My money's on Kylo, but then again it would make me just as happy to know that there was someone scarier than this temper tantrum throwing ass out there in the galaxy. I'm sorry, but half the time, Kylo Ren isn't even scary. He just needs a nap in a juice box. Like in the next frame where we see him smashing his helmet into the wall like a youngling who was forced to share his sand speeder with another kid at recess. Check out that gnarly marking on his face. It looks a little too uniform to be a cut, but I wonder how it would work if it was part of his uniform or some sort of flight tool or weapon to help him out. Remember that scar because we're gonna come back to it in just a second. While Kylo is being super dramatic, we see him zipping through a battlefield with a control in his hand that appears to be targeting one of the ships in the Resistance fleet. And by the way this part of the trailer is cut, it looks like his mom, Princess Leia, might be on board. It could just be that the editor was just trying to fool us by putting Leia between those takes, but Carrie Fisher is dead in real life and Kylo is super evil, so it might be the perfect way to write Kylo's mom out of this series for good. Our next shot takes us into what looks like it could be the Crystal Cave of Ilum, where Kyber crystals used to live. If you remember that episode from Rebels where they go to Ilum, the Crystal Cave Kyber crystals are the main component used to make a lightsaber, and normally appear a clear color until a Force-sensitive individual interacts with them. For example, if Mace Windu were to interact with them, they would turn purple, if Rey showed up, they'd turn blue, Yoda green, and so on and so forth. But here's another fun fact about Kyber crystals. They only naturally respond to Force-sensitive Jedi on the light side of the Force. Sith Lords are unable to axe Kyber crystals without putting up a fight, but because they're Sith Lords, of course they figured out a way to force the crystals to bend to their will. The guys on the dark side turn the crystals red by bleeding them, which is why the crystals appear blood red in the clips from the trailer. So either Snoke is mining crystals, or Kylo is trying to make himself a less unstable lightsaber. That being said, all of the promotional materials for the film have been talking about a place called Crate, a red sand planet covered in white salt crystals. It definitely looks like the First Order is attacking Crate, and we know that the Resistance has a base there, so maybe Ilum isn't in this movie at all? Maybe it's only featured in Rebels and won't be brought to the silver screen? Or maybe there are just two planets that look kinda similar because they're covered in salt and ice, which obviously bear a resemblance. I don't know, I guess we'll find out. Next up in the trailer is by far my favorite part. We get to hear what a porg sounds like! And look, Chewbacca isn't even trying to eat him! Our next voiceover monologue is from Poe Dameron, who seems to be giving some sort of speech in the foreground with Lieutenant Connex, aka Billy Lord, in the background. I'm sad that we didn't get to see more of her in the trailer because I'm really excited to see how she does. I low-key want to be her best friend. Before Poe finishes speaking, we get a flash of Phasma and Finn duking it out on screen. The weird part is that it looks like Finn is wearing a First Order uniform, which might suggest that he goes undercover in TLJ. I'm going to talk about that more later on in the video, but I have a sneaking suspicion that Poe Dameron might be going undercover too, but we'll get to that in just a minute. In the following scene, Luke starts telling us how something isn't going to go the way we think it's going to go, so I'm pretty sure he's talking to Kylo Ren. For a split second, we see a quick shot of what could be Ilum again, featuring a cute little snow fox that I really hope doesn't eat porgs. As the rest of the trailer picks up, we see Leia brooding about something in the distance, which is probably where Kylo learned how to be so emo, Rey diving into an underwater cave of some kind, and what looks like Snoke possessing Rey with the same demon that latched onto that little girl from The Exorcist. In the most bone-chilling trailer end of all time, we find Rey and Kylo alone in what looks like another dark cave-like place. It really sounds like Rey is asking him to show her the dark side of the Force, solidified when Kylo reaches out his hand to shake hers. Remember a little while back when I mentioned that weird scar on Kylo's face? His face is perfectly smooth here, so I think that this scene happened before Kylo's 256 temper tantrum back there. If that's the case, I'm totally thrown off about the through line of this plot, and honestly, I'm kinda glad that I don't feel like I know exactly what's gonna happen in this one. If you're still with me, let's take a look at that poster. The most obvious thing is the giant image of Luke Skywalker towering over the rest of the gang in a cloak that almost looks a little bit like the outline of Vader's helmet. Maybe this is a hint towards the Grey Jedi theory? Who knows? It was so great to see Luke featured so prominently on the movie poster for TLJ, especially because he was completely absent from the Force Awakens poster. But you know what was missing from the Last Jedi poster? Porgs! Here's how I imagine this bad boy was gonna look. Giant porg up in the sky, ruling the galaxy with his mighty, powerful jaws. Where are the porgs, guys? The only other thing missing from this poster is Kylo Ren's helmet, which could just be because we've already seen him without the helmet and there isn't anything to hide from us anymore. Or it could mean that Adam Driver signed a contract with Lucasfilm that no one could mess with his silky, flowing Professor Snape do. Or it could mean that he might not give over completely to the dark side in this film, unlike his grandfather, who went dark side, got burned on some lava, and had to wear that helmet for the rest of his life. Moving on to the things that were there, we saw a couple new characters on the poster that we've so far only seen in magazine promo photos, or in my case, hanging out outside of the Target in my neighborhood. Let's start by taking a look at my new BSF, BB-8. Get it? 'Cause he's evil. It's definitely a Disney-fied concept to add an antagonist to the new movie's updated R2 unit. Just imagine how many siblings will buy Rock'em Sock'em droids for Christmas. Actually, I'm gonna pause there on BB-8 because I have another dumb theory about that later on. Next, we're introduced to Rose Tico, who according to the promotional photos is Finn's new partner in crime. According to Wikipedia, Rose used to be a maintenance worker for the Resistance during their conflict with the First Order. I'm not sure how she and Finn are gonna meet up, but I really hope this doesn't mean that his bromance with Poe Dameron is over. I ship them so hard. Speaking of Poe, what the Jawa is going on with that guy? Why is he over there on the evil side with Kylo and Phasma and Kylo's shitty excuse for a lightsaber? Surely the graphic designer didn't think Poe was a bad guy, did he? Nah, I'm sure he didn't, but what if there's another reason why Poe is on the dark side of the poster? Could Poe Dameron be a double agent? Remember when I had said that I had an alternate BB-8 theory? What if BB-8 is just BB-8 in goth mode so that he and Poe can go undercover as Darth worshippers and infiltrate the First Order? I don't know, man. Think about it. Those are some of my thoughts about the Last Jedi trailer, poster, and some other fan theories, but I want to know what you guys think in the comments section. Pick apart my theories, tell me I'm wrong, tell me I'm right, give me more background on things I might have missed, tell me which stills I glossed over from the trailer. Like and subscribe to Obseb, and may the porgs be with you.